Hello and welcome to another Draw with Igloo. This one's on a Santa special, a Christmas Among Us special, a little Santa crewmate. If you want to watch the tutorial on how to draw the basic crewmate, then you want to go and click this link up here first. When you've watched that, you can come back and you can start this one, and we'll add the hat, the bag and the candy canes and a bit of his Santa suit. So once you've watched that, we'll see you again soon. Right guys, if you're in Illustrator or if you're drawing along with a pen and paper, Illustrator, you want a document setup and you want the size to be 1920 pixels wide by 1080 pixels high. And let's get started. So like I said, we've already drawn the character and we're going to turn him into a little Santa character. So let's start with a belt. So we're going to use a pen tool and I'm going to click over here and click and hold until we've got a nice little curve on his belt. Now you'll see it's done a fill color, so we just need to switch that over to the stroke, and let's bump up the thickness. We don't want it to be quite as thick as the outlines, but not far off. Somewhere about 27 pixels looks about right. And then for the little belt buckle, we're going to go under the rectangle tool and pick the rounded rectangle tool and draw just a little buckle like that. And I've got a fill color here, a goldy color, the same way K-values 2140 810, and we're just going to drag that over his belt. I think we just need to move this up a tiny bit. So I'm going to grab both of them together with shift, bump it up a little bit. There we go, that looks good. Okay, the next thing, we'll do these white stripes. If you select this one that we've drawn already and then press the pen tool, and we'll go from about here to here, put a nice curve in it so it goes through the middle of the belt buckle. And we want to change that stroke color to white. And we're going to grab the outline, the belt buckle holding shift and the belt, and we're going to bring these to the front. So command shift and the right square bracket. So now these are just in front of the white line. So we're going to do the legs now. So click that white line so it copies, and just click over here and over there and give it a nice curve. That's probably a bit too much. There, that's about right. And bring the outline up to the front. Again, command shift right square bracket, and then we can select this one and we can just hold alt until you see the double cursors, and we'll drag it across to here. Maybe just rotate it a little bit. That looks about right. And then we're going to work on the Santa's sack. So we're going to start with the ellipse tool, and I'm going to draw something about that sort of size. And I'm going to color drop the belt just with I. So I'm going to press I and just color drop the belt. It copies the weight of the stroke. It's probably a little bit too thick. I'm just going to knock a couple off there. 24 looks about right. And then I'm going to direct select with A this anchor point here and just bring it in a bit holding shift. That looks about right. So we want to have that looking a little bit flat, like it's resting on his back. So then using the pen tool, we're just going to draw this little opening of the Santa's sack. And you'll see it looks a bit odd, it's a bit sharp. It doesn't look too bad actually, but if you want to round that off, just go over to your stroke box and put rounded cap on and rounded corners, and that'll just round that off. We can put a fill color on this straight away of the bright red. That's 100 magenta, 100 yellow. And we can also fill in the Santa's sack. But what we're going to do is command C, command shift V, which is copy and paste in place. Going to get rid of the stroke and the fill color, the bright red that we just mentioned. Then command shift left square bracket to pop it to the back. And we'll put some shading on this. The darker red will just start over here. Give it a nice curve. And then you want to alt click so it gets rid of the other handle, and then just roughly go around the shape. And we'll make it a dark red. Dark red is same as before, 100, 100, and then just 11% black. And once we've got that selected, we'll just command and the left square bracket a couple of times to send it behind this stroke. And then we're going to move on to this needs to go to the back actually. So command shift left square bracket. There we go. That looks better. Then we're going to do the candy canes. There's a nice little trick for these candy canes. So you're going to use the rounded rectangle tool. click and drag and draw like that. You want something about there. Let's bump up the weight a bit because we want these to be quite thick. 32 looks about right. And then just with direct select, select these two bottom ones here, that one and that one. Just drag over them with A and just press delete once. We're going to get rid of the red, so get rid of that fill color. And then this just looks a bit short, so we're going to make it a little bit longer. Drag that bottom point there. That looks about right. So then we're going to go up to Object and Expand. Click OK. And what that's done is turn it from a stroke to a fill. And then we can go ahead and drag this color over to an outline and get rid of the fill color. Or we can actually change the fill to white. Doesn't really matter. So let's bump up the stroke weight on this. Don't want it to be too heavy. 11 looks about right. And then when we zoom in, we're going to use the pen tool and we're just going to do some lines across here. So once you've done your line, you need to Alt and click off it so you can start a new line. And then we'll do one over here. There, that one's right. So then we can select this one and we can Alt, click and drag, holding Shift till it looks even. And then you can press Command D and do a couple more. Now once you've selected this, the easiest way to fill in the colors rather than drawing the shapes again is to use the live paint bucket. The shortcut's K. So what you have to do first is select this, all of this with the lines. Click that live paint bucket, and then when you click on the strokes, it's going to separate all these shapes. That means we can color these shapes in. So if I select red, the bright red, 100 and 100, then we can just click, 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 click. And it's a really clever way to do a fast coloring in of a shape. If I duplicate that by holding Alt and move it over, I can go back to that live paint bucket, select a green, and just change it that way. Very clever tool. So if we press V, select all this, press Command G, select all this, press Command G. These are now grouped together. So we can select both of them holding Shift. I'm going to go up to Object and Expand, click OK. You have to do it twice, click OK. And then what we've got is outline. So when we shrink this down, our stroke isn't going to go with it. So then we can select one and pop it where we want it to be. Select the other. Maybe pop that a bit higher. Maybe drop this in a bit. Somewhere like that. Then we can select both of them and send them to the back. So Command Shift and the left square bracket. And bob that up a bit. Yeah, that looks good. So we're nearly there. That's Santa's hat now. We'll zoom in just a little bit. I'm going to just turn some guides on for this one so I can see where I'm up to. Let's just use the bottom and the top. Okay, so with the pen tool selected, let's start over here and draw this shape. So once you've done the front of the hat, you're going to command, let's get rid of the guides, you're going to Command C, Command Shift V, which is paste in place. Let's get rid of the stroke, make the fill white, and just send it back one with Command and the left square bracket. And then let's select this, and we'll draw the little bobble coming off the end of the hat. Looks about right. And then let's draw the hat itself. So coming from the bobble, just up there, and a little curve going in. And then one line just here for the end of the hat. So now we're going to colour these in. and this is going to be the bright red. So I can get rid of the stroke color, and the fill color is just going to be the bright red. I'm going to pop that all the way to the back with Command Shift left square bracket. This one, Command C, Command Shift V. Get rid of the stroke, make the fill white, and using Command left square bracket, we'll just pop this back a bit. There we go. And once we've done that, we can do a nice shade. So let's go from here over to here, and put a bit of a curve on it like that. And then you want to alt click and just roughly go around the black lines. There we go. We can color drop that color there, and let's send it back a few. There we go. And once you've done that, we can select the whole hat, and we just want to deselect our character there. Let's make sure we've got everything with V. Yeah, that's good. So Command G, and we'll bring that up to the front. So that looks like a decent hat. You can move it up a bit if you want. You can rotate it a little bit, whatever suits. But that is how to draw a Santa character. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was helpful. I hope you enjoyed drawing along at home. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.